So now that we've spent a lot of time working to get our informal introduction just how we want it, it's now time to take what we've done and work on transitioning our essay, what we've worked on, into a more formal essay. We're going to see what we can do to take this from a blog introduction to something we could use on a scholarship application or an application for a program or for your next step for a four-year college or for grad school. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at how we're going to do that. And we're just going to walk through that with an essay that I have from a student that I have access to. So here we have her blog introduction, and this is actually her introduction to her blog that it's a lifestyle blog about trying to be the best you can be. So her introduction here is, we see, she talks about being a student, what some of her goals are. She talks about her faith. She also goes into loving Netflix and books and hiking and intelligent conversations and new skills and goals and dreams, and ultimately it's all about the puppy. So this is perfect. Like we've talked about, this is perfect for an informal setting. All these exclamation points really add the emphasis. It's the lists, these things are interesting to us. They grab our attention for her blog post. We're going to need to see what we can do, though, to take this now from formal to informal, backwards, from informal to formal. So what do we need to do? So we want to ask some guiding questions, a couple of things that will help us make that transition. So the first question that we really need to address is, how does the purpose change from a blog post, this informal introduction, to a formal personal statement? So how do you think that purpose changes? Right, it's more about getting into a program. It's more about impressing the admissions committee or the scholarship committee. We're not just interested in having people hear about our ideas on a lifestyle blog. So the purpose is really important. So the next question we ask is, who is our audience for the personal statement? And how is that different? So who's the audience for the personal statement? Right. Again, it's the admissions committee. It's the people that will give us a scholarship. So the audience is not necessarily our peers like it was in a blog post or an informal introduction. These are professionals. These are people that we want to impress. So the audience makes a big difference in how we are going to put this together. The next question we need to think about is, what details need to be included for us to accomplish this purpose, and also what details does our audience want to have? What details does that admissions committee want? What details does that scholarship committee want in order for us to get in order for us to get the money that they have to give us? The other question would be, are there other details I need to add? Are there things that we did not put in our formal introduction I keep saying that wrong, our informal introduction, that really need to be included to have an adequate formal introduction? So now that we have answered those questions, and you'll notice that those are the questions that are first on your outline worksheet. What is my purpose? Who is my audience? And we've kind of thought about what details we might need to add. It's important now that we kind of have a focus or a guiding sentence for the rest of what we do. And this is just a really general prompt. You may find when you are writing a personal statement for a specific scholarship or program that they would give you a different prompt. But we're going to use this prompt: what experiences have shaped you and influenced your goals? And then this is just what makes you the best choice. We want to recognize that in a personal statement, we do get to toot our own horn. That's an important part of a personal statement. So even though we don't have a specific scholarship in mind, we do want to highlight our good characteristics, our good qualities. So after we answer. So we're going to answer that question. And now let's go to Emily's statement. And we talked about, what her purpose, well, maybe we didn't. Her purpose would be, with her personal statement, is to get into grad school, which is different from her blog post, her blog introduction purpose. Her audience is the Penn State Graduate Admissions Committee. So we're recognizing that. And so, in one sentence, answer the question. An answer to that would be, my education has shaped me the most and made me want to learn new things and find solutions for others who have not had the same opportunities. So this answer is going to shape what happens next. Okay, so we're answering the question, what is my purpose? Who is my audience? We're getting sort of a focused question going. And now it's time to look back at our blog post. Okay, so what gets to stay from Emily's blog post? What information based on her purpose, her audience, and that sort of focus statement do you think gets to stay here in her paper? What are some of the things that you think? Right? I would agree. What is she studying? That's important. What are her goals? How about any of her hobbies? Do you think any of her hobbies apply here? Yep, I think reading books, the learning new skills, self-improvement, new things to love. I think you're right. The goals and dreams, those are things that we probably want to go ahead and include in our paper, in our personal statement. So let's go ahead and go back to this outline. So we've talked about her focus statement, and we want now to craft an introduction. And that introductory paragraph in a personal essay, a personal statement, is a little bit different than maybe some of the other writing that you did in high school or other things. We don't necessarily need to have this 3-part thesis that's going to shape each paragraph, but we do want to have a hook, and we do want that introduction to guide the rest of our paper. So on your outline, you'll see that we want to add an interesting detail that's going to hook our reader, and then we're going to explain, and we may have a formal thesis, or that whole introductory paragraph may go ahead and just continue to hook our reader and progress towards this focus statement. So if we go back to Emily here, this would be her introduction. And as we look at it, we can see here that she has the hook about learning, having a passion to learn from the very, very early in her life. And she doesn't really give us a thesis, but she does, I think, keep our interest going when she says here that she couldn't pick just one thing that she wanted to be when she grew up, but always had a long list of possibilities. And so she's got the hook, and you want to, in your introduction, you want to have a hook, and you want to show your personality and who you are. Even though this is very formal, we still want to see you. It is a personal statement, and the people, your audience, wants to know about you. They don't want you to necessarily copy Emily, but they want to know about you. So as we return to our outline, past our introduction, we want to go ahead and talk about details. And each of those details, whereas in our blog post, our informal introduction, we might just list them of detail, we want to include an explanation on these things about why that detail goes back to this focus statement and why that matters. So we'll elaborate more than we did in our other statement. And going ahead and including a couple of explanations will help give you some things to work with as you craft your own essay. Now, we're not going to go through Emily's entire essay here because you have that. If you want to refer back to it, you do have those samples. But I do want us to take a look at this personal statement outline. And I want to talk just a little bit about the conclusion. With the conclusion, this is your mic drop. This is your last chance to get their attention, last chance to wow them, if you will. And so you don't want to just repeat what you've already said, but you want to share details that sum up your argument. You want to leave them with a sense of who you are and why they really want you, and why you're fabulous, because you are. And so let's just look just really briefly at Emily's conclusion here. So if we just take a look at this conclusion, let's look at how she does this. She makes this really sort of her thesis statement here. And then she includes just a few details that go back to the beginning. Though I have grown much, I remain at heart the little girl on a quest to understand and know the world around me. And I believe that pursuing a PhD in educational psychology at Penn State would be the perfect next step in personal and professional growth. And so here we have her statement. She has the hook about her. She has her goal. And she has just a little bit of a mic drop there. And so as you work on your outline here, I just want to show you just a little bit. I want you to take that into consideration as you work on your conclusion. Now, I just have thrown a lot of information at you. And like I said, you do have access to the sample. You have access to Emily's work and her outline. And so as you work through it, if you need to refer to that or ask me some questions, that is just fine. And as you fill out this outline, feel free to work with your partner. This can be a collaborative effort. This is our first real step at a big revision. And so we want to have all the help that we can get in doing that. If you prefer to kind of work on your own for a little bit, I do need you to discuss some of your outline with your partner. That's part of their grade, and that's part of your grade. So work through that. Let's fill out these outlines. Ask a lot of questions, and the more information we put on the outline, the more details we take from our brainstorm to our outline, the easier it's going to be to take that outline and turn it into the paragraphs of our personal statement. So let's just go ahead and get started.